plan on editing this, so let me not space out and make the video weird, because I really don't plan on editing these. This video is supposed to be about me having my daughter at 16. Yes, I'm 30 years old. I just turned 30 in April, and I have a about to be 14-year-old daughter in a week. I got pregnant with my daughter at 15. I had her at 16. The whole thing around her conception and everything was like straight chaos. Like, it really was. It was straight chaos. Her dad was my best friend at the time. Best friend, acted like we was girlfriend and boyfriend, but I was mean, so I would never say that we was. So we're gonna say best friend at the time. And yeah, I don't really know what to say about it. I got pregnant at 15. He was my best friend, and I had a lot of stuff going on at home, like with me and my mom in particular. We were not getting along, so I would always go to his house to like escape and get away and stuff. And so I guess I kind of just got too comfortable with being able to be over there and go over to his house and everything. And he was always at my house when my mom was at work, because my mom worked a lot. I knew his mom well and his little sisters, and he knew my little brother well. And then my mom had my little sister, which is 1 year apart from my daughter. He knew my little sister. We was just like this, like man close, man tight. So my mother was religious. Okay, I grew up in a Christian household, a strict Christian household with some exceptions on her part, but a strict Christian household. And yeah, so getting pregnant at 15 and the Lord Jesus and the Bible and the church and everything, that just went against everything that I was taught, everything that like my mother stood for, like everything. So I was scared batshit crazy. I did not tell my mom I was pregnant until she found out by force in the emergency room, because I hid it for like 5 months, like, not gonna lie. I was so scared to say that I was pregnant. Like, I was just so scared in general, because my mom was like very controlling, very strict. I already was having like this tumultuous relationship with her, and she didn't believe in like love and all of that. Believe in like love and all of that, like as far as you being and all of that stuff. She didn't believe in all that. Just like when I was a teenager, for a while I thought I was gay. I ain't gonna lie. I thought I was lesbian for a long time. I really was gay for a long time. Bisexual, whatever you want to call it. But my mom told me that it was a phase, that I was not into girls, that it wasn't a real feeling. It was demonic. It's not something that's normal, like all those things. So I brainwashed myself into liking boys, but we'll get that into another story time, another video. But yes, my son is crying for me. But my daughter is like, the first 2 years of having my daughter was like really tough on me. Like, I really didn't feel like I was gonna get an abortion, but then I found out that it was like a full body in my belly, and like I really had a whole kick it. Like, I was a teenager. I didn't really think. Like, you think like, oh, a pregnancy test says I'm pregnant, there's something in there. But like, I was so immature. I just really didn't think like, oh, there's arms, legs, like it's a whole human inside of my body. So my mom, she was like, well, if you want to get an abortion, we could get an abortion, whatever. And I was going to get the abortion. She was going to take me to Atlanta, because I was 19 weeks. She was going to take me to Atlanta. And then looked it up, like happened to look it up to see like what's going to happen at this time when I get the abortion. And I looked it up and I was like, so basically I'm murdering a whole human. Can't do that. So I decided to instead just got my daughter up for adoption for a local family at the church. He's not hurt, y'all. He's just saying that because he wants to come to me. He's over there with his dad. Now he sees me. Also, this is for the middle of the video because I forgot this part. While I was pregnant with my daughter, I went to Florence Crittenton, which is basically a home for teenage girls that are pregnant, foster girls that their parents kicked them out, whatever. My mom and people from the church helped me find this place, and it was in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I went to Florence Crittenton and I lived there basically until I had my baby. I lived there. I went to a pregnancy school. I went to Hawthorne High School in Charlotte, North Carolina. I went to school with pregnant kids. I went to school with girls who had their babies, and they had a daycare at that school. And it was a really good experience at that school. So yeah, those are things I left out. During my pregnancy, I lived at Florence Crittenton, which is a home for teenage pregnant girls. And I lived in a dorm with another pregnant girl, and we had like dinner time. We went out on dates as pregnant people, like out shopping for the baby or to Moe's for lunch, etc. It was a really nice experience. I had a couple issues there, but it was really my temper and what I had going on at the moment. But that was a nice experience. And then I went to Hawthorne High School, which is a high school for pregnant or mothering teenagers. So yeah, I did that. I also forgot to put in the part where the family at the church that I was going to give my daughter up to, a woman and a man that was married together. I knew the woman before the guy, and me and her were really close before I got pregnant. So when I thought about giving my baby away, I thought about her. She could not have children. She was at an older age, and she had recently just married this guy off the praise team, and it looked like a really strong foundation, but it wasn't. Also including that they actually tried to steal my baby. Yeah, like Lifetime stuff. Like my mom had to literally kidnap my daughter, come and get me from where I had recently ran away from, and then get on the Chinese bus to New York and take us to New York so that she could keep us all together. Yeah, because they tried to steal my baby. Well, at least that's what I know. That's what my mom told me was the situation and what was going on, because I wasn't around at the time. But yeah, tried to steal my kid. They also called ACS and lied on me and said I was stealing Pampers and stuff from Walmart. Yeah, crazy. Good thing I had people who knew me as a person, my mom or whatever, and they stood up for me and was able to close that case within 5.2 seconds. But yeah, adding that in, definitely had some baby kidnappers on my hands. All right, y'all, so we're going to try this spot. But yeah, so I was gonna give my daughter up to his family at my church that I knew well. And then I remembered that I was growing a whole fetus, and it was my fetus, and how I was gonna feel later on when I grew up, and I thought about my child being out there in the world and thinking that her mother didn't want her, or that, you know, she just wasn't important to me. So I decided to keep the baby. But after giving birth to Zion, I went into like a really bad depression, because it just still was a lot going on, and there was a lot of things that I hid because I didn't feel comfortable to tell my truth, or a lot of you know, opinions that people would have on me and about my kid's dad, or about me being 15, 16, having a baby or whatever. So I really just isolated myself and just stayed with my mom for a long time. The first 2 years though, I don't know if y'all can hear me. The first 2 years though, yo, was that a spider? The first 2 years of Zion's life was like crazy. I was really not handling it well. I was depressed real bad. I gained a lot of weight. I did not feel like myself. I didn't feel like a teenager. Like, I didn't feel like any of that. I dropped out of high school because I was just embarrassed. I was dealing with a lot of emotions, and I had lied so much during my teenage years that, like, people, their conception of me was not really who I was, and it was too difficult to try to prove the other way around. You know what I'm saying? So for a long time, I just isolated myself, and after about 2 years, I was running away from home. I got locked up once or twice. I went to a mental facility. Like, I was going through a lot for the first 2 years of Zion's life. And so my mom got temporary custody of her. And yeah, I really felt some type of way because I just felt like, I don't know, I could have been a really good mom early on had I had the support of, like, me being a good mom with the father of the child, or me being a good mom in general. Instead, I just felt like I went through a lot of people controlling me, controlling my kid, like trying to make decisions for me, thinking that I was incapable of making those decisions because I was so, like, enraged and just, like, wilding out emotionally. So people kind of tried to play me like I was crazy and made it seem like I needed help making decisions to raise my daughter, and I wasn't capable of doing it on my own for a very long time. Like, my mom was even saying this type of stuff to me before I made her leave. But this is like what I had to deal with growing up, is just people crippling my ability to be something and having to, like, fold to it so that I'm not in chaos, or, like, buck up against it and then deal with the chaos afterwards. Like, that's it. So yeah, after about 2 years, I moved back to New York. My daughter was 2, and with my mom and my other siblings. And at that point, I just started being more responsible, like picking her up, taking her to school, and doing parent things, doing her hair, spending time with her, like getting really close with her. But it still was a lot of trauma that I was dealing with, so I really didn't know how to be emotionally available for my daughter for a very long time. Like, up until I got with my son's father. Like, he really helped me a lot when it came to my daughter and being emotionally available for her, just like trying to talk me through behaviors that she was doing, or ways that I was reacting, and saying, like, you know, this could be a little different, or, you know, whatever. But up until then, I really didn't have a good emotional relationship with Zion. I just had, like, a provider mindset, and, like, made sure I document her life. She took nice pictures. She always looked well, presentable, kind of just, like, mimicking the relationship that I had with my mom growing up, because I thought that that's what I needed to do to prove that I was capable of taking care of my daughter. So I was molding myself into that, but I really wasn't doing well on the emotional aspect of it. Like I said in my previous video, there's been a couple times that I have ran away with Zion or left with Zion to go be on my own, and either a family friend or the family friend's child has violated my daughter inappropriately. So a lot of little things happened, built up the current state that I'm in right now. I just feel better when I feel like I'm talking to myself. I know everybody's gonna watch it, and I'm talking to a bunch of people right now, but when I feel like I'm alone in the room doing it, I feel like I'm talking to myself. So I feel better about that. Yeah, so fast forward to now. If you have any questions about anything, because I know I really skipped through a lot. Because it's just too much to, like, unpack. It's not too much to unpack, but I'll unpack it if you want to hear it. But fast forward to now, Zion's about to be 14 next week. That's crazy. My life, like, now is kind of flipped. Like, although I am still like doing whatever I do for my daughter, or whatever. But now it's kind of flipped into like we have become more of like, she like my little homegirl, and it's not in a way of like, oh, that's your friend, like you want to go out with your daughter and do like that. No, it's not that. So relax. I give her the freedom to be herself. I give the freedom. I know the circumstances that she was in when I conceived her, when I gave birth to her, when I raised her. I know who I was through all those parts of her life, and I know what she had to deal with. And she's also healing and going through trauma from me, from those parts of her life. So I showed my daughter a lot of grace, a lot more grace than people feel like the average teenager should get, but I don't care. Because as much as she wants things and material things, I have learned that the material things in the long run don't matter. In the moment, it's cool. You buy it, you dirty it up, you lose it, you stain it, you grow out of it, you buy another one. But you can't rebuy memories that are meaningful. You can't buy emotional connections to people. You can't buy love. You can't buy your mother. Like, you can't buy any of that. You can't buy your daughter. You can't buy that. That's real. Those are things that take real trials and tribulations to go through, and to know that you're growing through, because that's what we're all here for, is to grow. So I appreciate that now, even though it frustrates me that sometimes I can't do all the things that I would do for Zion in the past. And I look at her pictures growing up, and it's like, dang, this is really who I am. Like, what is the, or I can't give my daughter this, or I can't whatever. But really, the best thing I can do for her is not what I could buy her, but it's to heal and be honest with myself, so that she can be honest with herself and be honest with the world. She could be strong and confident who she is, and not ever question herself, her intuition, not ever question any of her decisions, because there's no wrong decisions. It's either you learn from something, or it's a blessing and you grow, or you learn from it. But both are blessings in different dresses, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to be more positive and teach her positive thinking, teach her positive financial thinking, like thinking about her mindset and how she thinks about herself, confidence. I'm just trying to be a good mom. And I know there's no book. I'll never ever be done learning how to be a mom. And I'm still gonna fuck up, and she gonna have some shit to say about me when she get grown. But I'm just gonna always take accountability for the things that I've done to be in the situations that I am in. And I know that having my daughter at 16 was a lesson, but it was the most beautiful blessing that I could have. I love her so much. She means so much to me. She's taught me so much. Our relationship is not the most ideal, and it's not what other people would classify as a mother-daughter relationship. But I had her as a teenager, and she just grew up with me, and that's just what it is. And I'm not gonna bash her or myself for her being here. I'm just gonna try to do my best and pray that even in my trials and tribulations and the mistakes that I make, well, not mistakes, the things that I learn in life, that I always turn my negatives into positives, and she knows that about me, and that she knows how to always do that for herself, and to never judge herself based on a decision, no matter what anybody around her is thinking. To just be confident and strong in her intuition as a young woman, and be proud of herself. I don't care how small it is, to be proud of herself and to know that she's protected, she's loved. I and the universe, God, we are always protecting her. We are always loving her. She is not flawed. There are no, everybody is in a perfect piece of imperfection. So, yeah. But yeah, these are one of the videos. I have a list in my notes of videos to put out to try to keep me focused, because I be having ADHD, and when stuff comes to my mind, I forget. But This is my video on I'm a teen mom. I had my daughter at 16. I got pregnant with her at 15. It was a whole lot of chaos. It was not sweet. I did not enjoy my teenage years. I did not enjoy half of my adult years. I'm just trying to figure out what enjoying life as an adult looks like, because I feel like I was a kid adult for mad years now, and I don't know how to act my age. So I'm always acting like an old lady in the house, like I've been living a long time. But I beat the statistic. People was telling me that I was not going to be successful. I beat that statistic. People told me that I was going to have more kids back to back, because when you have one as a teenager, you have more. I beat that statistic. I didn't have my second kid until my first kid was 12. Okay? I didn't have my second kid until I was 28 years old. Okay? I had no abortions. I had no pregnancies that were, whatever, no, nothing. I held that down for 12 years. So I beat that statistic. And I'm just going to keep beating statistics. I keep going back to school no matter how much I don't finish it, because I'm going to beat that statistic too. I was a business owner. I beat that statistic. I'm going to break my tax bracket and beat that statistic too. I don't care if my daughter is 16, 15, 17, 18. When the day comes that I beat my tax bracket and I elevate my life, I'm going to do it while she's living and she's breathing on this planet, because that's a promise that I made to myself, and a promise that I made to her, is that no matter how long it takes, I'm going to accomplish everything that I said we're going to do together. I said we were going to live together in New York by ourselves in a nice apartment. I beat that. So yeah, we on the roll. And I know my YouTube is going to take off, and my TikTok is doing what it's doing, and everything is flipping. The universe is flipping my bag for me right now, and I'm going to reap so many benefits from this, from releasing my trauma, from being vulnerable, and learning to love and letting love me. Guys, bye. I'm going to go back and play. I came outside to get some fresh air today because it's gloomy, and I'm just trying to stay positive. But God keeps providing, and I keep waking up every day to breathe and live, love, and have experiences. So I'm forever grateful, and I am overflowing with gratitude.